Okay, so where does our story even begin? Well, it starts in a time of total crisis. We're talking 605 BC. The kingdom of Judah has just been completely crushed by the Babylonian Empire. And the Babylonians had this strategy. They'd take the best and brightest young people from the places they conquered and bring them back to Babylon. This was exile. And among those deported was a sharp young man named Daniel. So just imagine, one day you're at home, the next you're ripped away and thrown right into the heart of this massive, powerful, and totally foreign empire.
All right, let's get into his first big test. They might think his first challenge would be, some huge political showdown or a battle, but nope. It all started at the dinner table.
So here's the deal. The king puts on this incredible spread. We're talking the richest food, the best wine. It was a life of total luxury. But it was also an invitation to forget who they were and just become Babylonian. For Daniel and his friends, eating that food meant compromising their faith, their identity. So what did they do? They made a radical choice. Just give us vegetables and water. And here's the crazy part. It worked. This is a theme we're going to see again and again. Their commitment paid off. After just 10 days on this simple diet, they looked healthier and sharper than all the other guys who were eating the king's rich food. It was this immediate, visible proof that they were on the right path.
Okay, so from a test of diet, we move to the next challenge. And let me tell you, the stakes get a whole lot higher. We're talking life and death now. Not just for Daniel, but for every single advisor in the entire kingdom.
So get this. King Nebuchadnezzar has this super disturbing dream that shakes him to his core. But when he wakes up, he can't remember what it was. And he's so furious that he basically tells his wise men, "You have to tell me what I dreamed and what it means, or I'm going to have every single one of you executed." I mean, what an impossible task, right? So after he and his friends pray, Daniel goes before the king. And he doesn't just interpret a dream. He tells the king exactly what he dreamed in the first place. It was a vision of this huge statue. The head was made of gold. That was Babylon. Then you had a chest of silver, a belly of bronze, legs of iron, each part representing the next world empire that would come to power. It was basically a roadmap of future history revealed in this one vision.
But here's the real kicker. The dream wasn't just about predicting which kingdom would come next. The ultimate point was way bigger. It was a message that all these powerful human kingdoms, they come and they go. They rise and they fall. But there's a divine kingdom that will stand forever. That was the real takeaway.
Now the spotlight shifts a little. We're not focused on Daniel for this next part, but on his three friends. You might know them as Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego. And they are about to face an incredibly public and frankly terrifying test of their faith. So the king builds this giant golden statue and issues a decree. When the music plays, everybody has to bow down and worship it. No exceptions. But Daniel's friends? They just don't. They flat out refuse, and they know exactly what that means. Their statement is bold, and they are fully prepared for the consequences. And the king? He absolutely loses it. He's so enraged that he orders the furnace they're going to be thrown into, to be cranked up 7 times hotter than normal. I mean, you can just feel the fury in that command, can't you?
But then, something incredible happens. They're thrown in, but they're not alone. The king himself looks into the flames and sees a 4th person in there with them, looking like an angel. And when they walk out of that fire, they're completely untouched. Not a single hair is burned. They don't even smell like smoke. Just, wow.
All right, the story now jumps forward and gives us this really powerful contrast between two different kings. It's a perfect lesson in what happens when a leader gets arrogant and forgets where their power really comes from.
So, fast forward a few years, there's a new king in town, Belshazzar, and he's throwing this huge, wild party. And to show off, he starts using the sacred cups that were stolen from the temple in Jerusalem. It's the ultimate act of disrespect. And right in the middle of this party, a hand appears out of nowhere and starts writing on the wall. As you can imagine, the party screeches to a halt.
Who do they call? Daniel, of course, who's an old man by now. He comes in and reads the writing on the wall, and it is not good news for the king. It's a divine judgment. Mene, God has numbered the days of your kingdom, and they're up. Tekel, you've been weighed on the scales, and you don't measure up. Upharsin, your kingdom is going to be divided and given away. And bam, that very night it all comes true. The kingdom falls.
Okay, so now we get to probably the most famous part of the whole story. The part everyone knows. Daniel in the lion's den. Daniel is now an old man, serving a new empire, the Persians, and he's about to face his biggest test yet.
Here's the setup. Daniel is so good at his job, so respected, that the other government officials get super jealous. They try to find some dirt on him, but his record is spotless. So they realize the only way we can get him is to attack his faith. So they trick the king into signing a new law. For 30 days, nobody can pray to any god or man except the king.
And what does Daniel do? This is what's so amazing. He knows this law means a death sentence, but he doesn't change a thing. He doesn't go hide in a closet to pray. He goes to his room, throws open the windows facing Jerusalem, and prays 3 times a day, just like he always did. His integrity was literally more important to him than his own life.
Well, of course, they catch him, he's arrested, and thrown into a den of hungry lions. The king is actually devastated. He'd been tricked, but he can't reverse his own law. But overnight, another miracle. An angel comes and shuts the lions' mouths. And the next morning, when they open the den, Daniel is completely unharmed.
So when you step back and look at this whole amazing story, you start to see these key ideas pop up over and over again, right? First, this incredible faithfulness, even when facing death. Second, that real wisdom is a gift from God. Third, a huge warning about pride, how it leads to a total downfall. And finally, this idea that divine power can step in and save you from literally impossible situations.
And that kind of leaves us with a final question to chew on, doesn't it? What are the lion's dens in our own lives? I mean, we're probably not facing literal fiery furnaces, but we all face moments that test our beliefs, right? Maybe it's pressure to cut corners at work or to go along with something we know is wrong. The core challenge, sticking to what you believe when it's hard, that's as real today as it was for Daniel.